All right, as far as upcoming games are concerned in relation to 2019, we have learned that a classic JRPG that was released back in 97 for the PS1 will be appearing on Nintendo Switch sometime between now and January 2020. It's called Moon Remix RPG Adventure. It's a game that came out for the PS1, and it's one that is considered to be underrated and one that remained as a Japanese exclusive. And the game itself was probably not as popular as it should have been, possibly because that same year, '97, we got to see the release of Final Fantasy VII, which was arguably the most popular JRPG of the '90s, quite possibly ever, depending on who you ask. And the interesting thing about this game, Moon, RPG Remix Adventure, is the fact that about 22 years ago in '97, a lot of game companies and gaming developers were moving away from using 2D sprites or 16-bit sprites, and basically this is a game that probably would have gotten over a little bit more if it was released a couple of years earlier. In fact, the way it looks with the sprites and the 3D-like background, it's kind of reminiscing of the Xenogears game that came out back in '98, which was developed by Square. And basically, this game actually had they had some developers who previously worked with Square on Super Mario RPG, and that was before Square stopped doing business with Nintendo. So basically, I guess after Super Mario RPG, these guys eventually they left. They formed their own group, and they worked on this game. And this game was one that was actually well received in Japan, and it was developed by a gaming developer called Love Delic, and it was originally published by ASCII Entertainment. And basically, since it was released 22 years ago or whatever, it was never released outside of America. And I can understand it not being released back in '97 because Final Fantasy was such a huge thing in America and in many other countries during the late '90s. But seeing it 22 years later on Nintendo Switch is something that's pretty cool, and it's something that would probably be nostalgic and would probably appeal to retro gamers who grew up during that time period. And as far as the official release date for this game is concerned, we have no information on when it'll be released. We have no release date or anything like that. Hopefully it's not delayed until 2020, but as it currently stands, it'll be ported for Nintendo Switch, and there's no word on whether or not it'll appear on other consoles such as the PlayStation 4 or whatever. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But as far as JRPG classics that remained Japanese exclusive back in the '90s, hopefully we'll see more games appear in Western countries such as America as time progresses.